Alright everyone, welcome back to TruVuw. I'm doing a interview today with Josh here with Skate USA here in Collinsville, Illinois. You know, we're in the St. Louis area, so we're promoting a lot of the St. Louis area shops and everything, and I figured this would be a great first interview. I just found this guy, I love this shop. It's good to see more local skate shops popping up, seeing the scene start to come back. So Josh, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Josh. I've been in the area for about 10 years or so. I've been in Illinois with a family. For sure love the area more than anything else, and especially locally here in Collinsville. Collinsville has a lot of things that go back and forth between old stuff and new stuff, but skating's been around for a while. It's been around for a long time. There's still a great skate community here, and just the city of Collinsville has been very, very good for us. So we're happy to be here.
Yeah, and one thing that I would really love to see happen, because you have this shop here now, is hopefully now there will be a push to get a skate park here.
Absolutely.
Because that's been one thing that this town has never had, and I think that would just bring the skate scene really alive here.
Yeah,
I would love to see that happen.
100%. I think that skate has gone through its own evolution, as everything does over the years, and I know there are a lot of people, a lot of predispositions to skating that have been around for a long time, but I think a lot of that changes, and I see a lot of people, old, young, boys and girls, everybody that comes in and skates. I sincerely hope that changes.
Yeah, I would love to see a lot more of it pop up. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what all brands and everything you have here?
Yeah, absolutely. So, carry all the good stuff. We got, Element, Baker, Carry Girl, Powell, and beyond that, I actually started this because of electric skateboards. So I know it's not very traditional for old school skaters, and it's definitely new technology itself, but it was life-changing when I got it. I was definitely happy to be a part of that community, and it is a wild trip being in that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been skating since, like I said in the last video, somewhere around 4th grade. And so seeing electric skateboards pop up, that was a really cool thing. When you introduced me to that made my day.
Absolutely.
Getting to actually try that out. So any skaters, if you're skeptical of the electric skateboarders, I definitely recommend giving it a shot. It is so much fun. You will fly on these things. Actually, you've got one here if you would like to show that off a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the same thing I tell everybody. It's not better, it's not worse, it's just different. It's a completely different vibe and different feel. You get to do a lot of stuff on here that you wouldn't normally do. So this is my favorite one. This is one I take to work, and I go around different places, different locations when I go work at the hospital. And give it a little go, it gets going. Traditional skateboard ways, you lean to go, right? And you just start and stop. That's it.
Yeah, and those are so awesome. They're so much fun, and I'm really glad that you are bringing that around here, because to my knowledge, no other skate shops in this area have electric skateboards.
Not that I know.
So you're actually bringing the electric skateboard movement to the St. Louis area, to my complete knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's awesome, because you got to think, over in the city, I mean, people are driving cars all the time. There's a lot of people riding bikes. They got the electric scooters out there that are a big thing. So to see stuff like this, I've seen the one wheel before, and I've heard that's really good for city transport, because everything's very close, and I think this would be a very good revolution to that, to give people mobile transport that doesn't require a car.
Absolutely.
A lot of city life, you don't have a car unless you're going long distances every day.
Yep.
So that's really cool.
If you don't mind me throwing it out there, if anybody else is curious about this, I actually got into this because it's called micromobility, or last mile transportation. That's the big push for stuff like this. You hear about it with Bird and Line, a couple of companies that do scooters, but personally, I'm not a big scooter guy, you know what I mean?
Right.
Do your own thing, you got it. I don't believe that micromobility has a future where you rent it, right? Just like everything else, I think it comes from people owning it. It comes from people tuning up their own ones and caring about it more. You don't care about people that you rent, right?
Right.
Like that's what renter's insurance is for.
Exactly.
But if you own your own board, you're in tune with your machine, it's a completely different feel. And they are absolutely made for people to do last mile transportation. Now you can take buses and trains, the Amtrak is much easier to do. You don't have to worry about walking the last 5 miles, which is incredible, but the time is what matters, right?
Right, you save so much time that way.
100%. So it's called micromobility. If anybody's absolutely interested in checking it out, please do. It's a good movie.
That's awesome. I didn't know that was the term for it. That's awesome. Yeah.
Other than getting skate shops here, or skate parks, well, skate shops too. Like, competition's fine. I think that there are more than enough people in the community to foster that kind of support. I think the community needs support like that. I can't tell you how many people have had literally walk or drive by, and that's when they see that there's a skate shop here. And I got an online presence, like you do the same thing any normal business does, but I got a full-time job. This is what I do. Make bread, family and stuff. This is what I do as a passion.
Right.
So I enjoy it as something that I get to give part of myself to the community and to be a part of that community. But I would sincerely like to see people support it more, especially like Holmesville. You know, putting up the skate park, you got Troy, you got Caseyville, Jefferson Barracks, right? Great places. And we can definitely need that support too. So.
I definitely agree because, you know, I've known a bunch of people in this area who have skated in the Collegeville area and they haven't been, you know, there's no place to go. Most of the places you go here in this town, there's no skateboarding signs. You're just not allowed to. So I think, like you said, people drive by, they start to see a skate shop. It starts to make it seem a little less taboo to have that kind of stuff around. And hopefully, you know, maybe the town will decide that they want to open up a skate park. Or I know you and I have had conversations before about you possibly being able to open up an indoor park, which would be great. Because I think if you could open up an indoor park, that could actually push this towards being a full-time job for you. 100%. And then you're working your passion. You're never working again.
Yeah, 100%. And of course, you can't ride electric skateboards in the snow. Like, that's a big no-no.
Right.
So I would definitely like to get there. I have a question for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
What do you think of skate making into the Olympics?
Okay, so I haven't watched much of it yet. I've seen a few clips, but that is something super exciting to me.
Okay.
Because, like, you know, whenever you're growing up, like, I know you haven't skated too much growing up,
right.
But growing up, you know, everyone's all like, oh, you're just doing that for fun, it's whatever, you know. They don't ever think about the possibilities of actually making a career out of skateboarding.
Yep.
You know, unless you go pro, and that, you know, the Olympics is a form of going pro, but I mean, you see little kids in there. There was like a 12 or 13-year-old girl or something that was doing absolutely gnarly stuff. And now it was so cool to see some of that, to actually see it make it to the Olympics, get the recognition. You know, I think skateboarding is alive now more than it ever has been. And I think that is really cool to see growing up being a skater. And, you know, I did stop for a little bit because of the job I was in, but getting back into it, seeing how alive the skate scene is, it makes me happy.
I'm glad to hear that. And that's why I asked you, because, you know, I'm new in my skating career, right?
Right.
I'll bet you didn't know this. Did you know the day that you and Brandon taught me how to ollie? That was my 30th birthday.
Oh, I did not know that.
So I waited until an ankle surgery, which is why I got the skateboard. Wife, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. She let me limp around on this thing so I can still go and do stuff.
Right.
Healing up after an ankle surgery, waited till my 30th birthday to start skating. Like, that's not heard of, you know, way back in the day. It's a young kid's game.
Right.
Like League of Legends, like, you know, reaction times, all that stuff. But no, anybody can skate. Like, you really can. I'm not really doing what those girls can do. You know, even at 14 years old, they'll blow me out of the water, right? But I still enjoy skating, and so it's good to see that perspective from someone that hasn't skated as long, somebody that has.
Right.
Now, because there's a lot of people that feel like not sell out, trying to make money, like all that stuff. I don't think that's what the Olympics is about. It's about the best, the very top.
Right.
See what they get to do. So that's cool. It's good perspective.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool that we actually got to show you how to do your first trick. I didn't know that was your 30th birthday, so that's awesome.
I kept telling you, I gotta go in an hour, right? You remember?
Yeah.
That's why. I was like, I gotta get home before I don't spend any time with the wife on my birthday.
Yeah, no, for sure. But that's really cool, and I'm glad that we have been able to help you out with, you know, helping you know a little bit more about how, you know, the parts where the skateboards work, and just learning how to skate in general.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's, you know, that's a big thing about the skating community. I think that's a big misconception, because whenever you're young and you go to a skate park or something, you're so scared because you're like, oh, all these people are good, and I'm not.
Yep.
And there's that big fear there. But every skate park I've ever been to, the community is so good. Like, everyone is always like, oh, you don't know what you're doing? You follow, they're right there to help you up. You know, they'll teach you whatever you need to learn. I have never really ran into many, like, bad or judgy people. I mean, obviously there's a few, but, I mean, every community's going to have a few bad apples, but...
And hey, as a kid, if you cut off someone's line, like, yeah, you got it, pay attention, right?
Right.
I'll share with you a story I don't share with many people. My mother bought me a skateboard. You know, cheap Walmart, you know, whatever it was. It wasn't Birdhouse, it was something else, right?
Right.
I think it had Shrek on it. Like, it was pretty bad.
Cool.
Yeah, but she was like, hey, you need to go do this, go out to the skate park. I must have been like 8 years old, right?
Right.
And I never got the confidence to get up, like, off my knees or do anything that I could, like, go fast or do things or even drop down a ramp. And I wish I had, but thinking back to the memory, which happened to be out in Hawaii, where there are a lot of tensions that happen between, you know, folks that have been there for a long time, people like myself that are, you know, Air Force brats or something like that. Right. They were all 100% encouraging. I wish I'd stuck with it. I wish so bad that I'd stuck with it for just a little bit, right? Right. They were the most encouraging people, and I, of course, was scared to fall, scared to embarrass myself as an 8-year-old. Like, what did that? I didn't know any of these people. keeping
No,
it here.
that's really cool, especially because, yeah, like you said, with, you know, there being conflicts of people who've been there for a long time and that. So to see how skateboarding can even bring people like that together.
Oh, yeah.
That's really awesome to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's actually, that's cool that you were from Hawaii for a little bit, because GT, the other host of this podcast, he actually lived in Hawaii for quite a while.
No way.
He was in the Navy, and he went out to Hawaii, and he lived out there for a while, so...
Yeah, that's right. Lucky him. That's good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, and from everything I've heard about Hawaii, I actually worked with a guy back in automotive who was from Hawaii and moved up here, and just everything I've heard, it sounds like such an awesome place to go, and I would love to go see Hawaii one day, go meet the skate scene down there, see what that's about. So that's really cool to know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I hope you don't mind me sharing that. Like, just weird.
No, that's perfect. I'm glad you shared that. These are good stories to get in there.
Yeah, 100%. It's weird how much you stop yourself when you're embarrassed or like afraid of failing, but you can't skate and do that. That doesn't work out.
Oh yeah, that's something that I try to tell everyone, like, because especially around here, there's a lot of young skaters.
Yep.
And the first thing I tell any of them is they'll come up to us and they'll be like, hey, can you teach us how to do this? And it's like, of course. And the first thing I always tell them is to be prepared to fall. You're going to fall, you're going to get hurt.
Yep.
It's just part of the process.
Yep.
Part of the learning process. You learn to fall eventually. You learn how to get back up from it and keep going. Keep learning. And that's the first thing I tell anyone. And then go on to teach them. And most of the people who I've tried to teach things to get it that day.
Yep.
So,
absolutely.
and that's really cool to see, especially with some of the younger crowd. And speaking of the younger crowd, I should have got this kid today whenever we were at Jefferson Bears yesterday. There was this kid who was 12 years old, and he was blowing everyone there away. I mean, he was doing tray flips off of stair sets and everything.
Yep.
This kid was gnarly. Craziest thing I've ever seen from a young cat like that. That was really cool to see.
Yeah, for sure. It's wild how young people can still be ridiculously good at skating.
Right. Oh, when I was 12 years old, I could barely ollie.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I had been skating for like 4 years, and I could barely ollie at that point. So to see kids that age doing it, I'm like, okay,
absolutely.
all right.
So somebody I work with, they didn't know that we were the skate park yesterday. They found that out yesterday, shared it with me today. I didn't know her son was into skating. But I mean, skating, like, I didn't realize that they bought him like a $5 board from like 5 and Below.
Oh,
when they showed me
okay.
a picture, I was like, yeah. She was like, yeah, he was trying to bomb a hill, you know, having trouble turning. I was like, dude, I don't know if you know it, but I own a skate shop. Bring it in, I'll check it out. 100%, no problem.
Yeah.
Didn't realize the kid was 8. The board was this short.
Oh,
It was about
no.
this wide. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, did everything I could. Got new wheels, new bearings, did the stuff. You know what that kid did? 8 years old. He was out here practicing always. Right?
That's awesome.
3 wheels off the ground. He almost had it. Like, that's crazy.
That's
At
awesome.
8, I quit. Dude, at 8, this kid's doing always. Like, that's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
Super good sport.
Yeah, I love seeing that the youth is getting into it because it's a really good way to stay out of trouble. I mean, skating can't get you into trouble. I gotta say, I got myself into trouble skating, but if you do it appropriately, it can definitely keep the youth out of trouble and just teach them a productive thing that, as we see now with the Olympics, it's a lot easier. It's a lot more recognized to become a career path if you really wanted to, especially with the way online presence is now. It's so much easier.
Absolutely.
And I think the skate community can grow so much farther because of that.
Absolutely. Anything that you do that is fun, you can get into trouble doing, right?
Oh,
airsoft. You can get trouble with airsoft and paintball.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's good stuff. You have trouble with racing, right?
Yep.
But I think that anything that's worth doing has a barrier to entry. That's not to discriminate against anybody, right? But there has to be some sort of work that you have to do to get the reward. Right? That's where good things come from.
Yes.
And I would venture to guess that most people that skate, especially that start skating young, develop things that you would never imagine because they are creative. Not only do you have to have the ability to fail and continue, right? You have to have the ability to practice and dedicate yourself to it. Even if it's a hobby, it's still work.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you look at people that practice a trick over and over and over again. They're not happy when they hit it. They're just happy it's done. But they hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? And they are the most
It's a
creative
relief.
people. I would imagine that people that start skating young hit some serious mile markers before anybody else. It's amazing. Like, truly amazing.
I mean, I skated it pretty young, and since then I've become a musician.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it gives you the dedication to fall and get back up and keep going, even in different life situations, because by the time I was 18, I had already bought my first brand new car. And by the time I was 19, I had moved out, got my first place. By the time I was 20, I bought my first house. So, I mean, it definitely teaches you that dedication to keep going.
Absolutely.
Always strive for better and more.
Yep.
And that's awesome that it can teach you valuable life lessons while you're having fun.
Right, yeah.
And
that's the other half.
yeah.
That's a good half.
This.
You got another question for me?
Let's see. What do we got? See if we can explain anything you guys run around here. Let's talk about location.
Sure.
Where your location's at. So, obviously you're here in Collinsville.
Yep.
Give us a little bit better idea of where you're at here.
Sure. So this actually used to be Ashman's Pharmacy, which had been in his family for something like 50 years. It's been a long time. And it's always been Ashman. We actually still get people to walk in expecting it to be Ashman's Pharmacy.
Oh wow.
It's been about 3 years. Yeah, it's been a while. So serious landmark in this area. You tell somebody that's familiar with Collinsville, like, oh, it's by the Ashman's Pharmacy. Don't know where it's at. That's the same.
Right.
It has to be on Main Street and 159. Helps us out a lot.
Great location. Everyone can see you right from the main road right there. That a lot of people drive through.
100%. And the only thing that Collinsville's missing is the skate park. We'll go back to that side. I sincerely hope we get to stay in Collinsville. And Main Street's phenomenal. You get Italian fest, right? You get the cook-offs down here. Like, they shut down the streets. You can run around on a skateboard. You chill with some good food. It's phenomenal.
And all of these things are actually going to be really beneficial to your business. If people walk through here, there's everyone right over there, and part of this building, the pharmacy side that you were talking about, actually is a card shop now that we'll try to introduce another day. So yeah, you got another thing there. You get a lot of people coming in to the card side and buying their cards, and then they might know someone who's a skater and be like, hey, this skate shop's opened up right here, and I'm sure you probably already got business that way.
Yeah, I sure have. I didn't realize how many of our customers on that side were actually skaters, because there was no reason to talk about it. I hadn't skated then. Yeah, that's crazy. I think this building was built in 1896, if I'm not mistaken. Like, super old. Been around a while. Really wish we could show the upstairs, but another day.
Yeah, eventually we will show that off. That would be really cool if we could eventually put some ramps up there. I would love to see that happen.
Draw some B-roll or something. Yeah,
right.
We'll haul a ramp up there. That's tell anybody.
Yeah, exactly. We'll wait till they close.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
But yeah, you got an absolutely great location here, right off the main road. The only thing I think that you really need for this shop is you need a big sign. You need a big sign so people can come, because you are a little bit hidden on the corner here, but it's still a good location to get to. But if you can have a sign that says, hey, skate shop here, that would bring in a lot of attention, because we have a lot of skaters around here.
It sure would, and not to hop off the We Love Collinsville train, but that's probably my one qualm, is this is considered uptown.
Yes.
So they're very controlling what goes on the side of the building.
Right.
They've been trying for years to design for the card shop, which is older than this place is.
Right.
One day I sincerely hope that happens. Just gotta work with city council, get some stuff going. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely on track.
Maybe you could get a decal to put on the window out there, and
that's a no-no.
No?
Yeah,
no?
Collinsville's really restricted. Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, the only complaint I have is signage on the building.
Okay.
So I'm with you, 100%.
Oh yeah, so fun fact for you.
Sure.
So, Collinsville has actually always had kind of a negative reputation with skating around here. I don't know if you know that. Part of the reason why we don't have a park.
Yeah.
But it's actually illegal to ride a skateboard from 159 here all the way down to the other end where the old Family Video was. That's now Dollar General.
No way.
It's illegal to ride a skateboard within that.
What?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Back in high school, I was riding a skateboard down that road, and a cop actually stopped me and told me I couldn't be riding my skateboard there. And back when Jolly Roger was around up in Belleville, they actually put a post on their Facebook that was the filing of that law.
Oh, God.
They don't do much about it other than tell you not to ride your skateboard.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're actually not allowed to ride a skateboard through that main strip. And I think it's actually the same on Clay Street. Both ways.
That's wild. So
Isn't it?
I gotta tell you, right? I can't tell you how many times I myself personally, or any of the many young people that come in here that want to take the electric skateboards out for a rip, go up and down that road, have never been stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They're not super strict about it,
No,
but
sure.
I have once been stopped about
That's
it.
wild. Okay. hey, you should have been doing bad stuff. What were you doing?
Right. Yeah. Just me being a little rebel.
Well, then I sincerely hope that electric skateboards continue to change that perspective, because things like those kinds of laws are antiquated.
Right.
If that entire road got turned into a sidewalk, huge sidewalk, the way that roads were actually meant to be back in the day,
Right.
would they continue to have that wall? They probably wouldn't get rid of it. Wouldn't spend the time and money to do it, right?
But they wouldn't enforce it.
Right. But then it's a waste of time. Like, antiquated laws like that need to go away, and things like electric skateboards are so wild and different. They bend that line between what is and isn't. For
Right.
instance, on most places, fun fact, if you get an electric skateboard off of this, please go check your ordinances, your municipalities, right, especially in your county, on bike trails. Some places don't allow you to ride electric skateboards because they're considered a vehicle.
A motor vehicle, yeah.
But if they're a vehicle, they have to be tagged and licensed, but you can't tag and license a skateboard. That's weird. That doesn't happen, yeah?
Right.
And in some places, it's considered a human-powered electric-assisted vehicle, which means if you can push it, then it's human-powered, even if you could ride it on full electric battery, right? You can push it, so it's considered a human-push electric vehicle, right?
Okay.
Which is different, and it depends on what state you're in, but, you know, some places on the bike paths, like, they'll write you tickets, huge tickets, because it's considered a vehicle, and some places, if you can prove you can push it, it's good. Like, weird stuff like that. Things that bend these lines continue to break down things that are old and antiquated, things that shouldn't exist. Like, why could I ride a bike at 30 miles an hour, but I couldn't ride a skateboard? Like, that's crazy.
Right.
That's weird.
No, that's actually really good information to know for a lot of the people who might get into electric skateboards or come here for an electric skateboard because of this. Yeah, I didn't know about that. I would have never thought about it, but yeah, you're right, because a lot of those bike trails do say no motor vehicles, and technically this is a motorized vehicle.
Absolutely, and the cop that's going to catch you is going to be on an ATV, and people will catch you. People will run you over. But it's also good. We got to swap, because I didn't know I couldn't ride my skateboard down there, so
Right.
we're good. Maybe you saved me a ticket.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know we were talking about you having some kind of promotion for people who might come in because of the podcast.
Absolutely.
So I don't know what you decide you want to do.
Sure, I made it really easy. I know it's not skater specific to the podcast, right?
Right.
But even if you know somebody that skates and you want to give them a sweet one, I give it 15% off anybody that comes in and mentions the podcast on anything in here.
Awesome.
For, you know, hopefully next month or so, right?
Okay.
You come in and mention it, you got it. Even if you're not the person that listens to it, we still give, you know, good positive support to the channel, right?
Right.
Give good positive support to the sport, give positive support to the skate. We're super happy about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
Not too bad.
So, all right, Josh. Well, thank you for your time.
Of course.
We'll get out of here. Let you get home to your wife. And a little late. We waited until you closed up shop. So
Yeah,
appreciate your time and glad to showcase the sword.
Yeah,
Get to talk to you and hopefully you get some new business from this.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate
Yep,
it.
not a problem.